All right. So we spent a lot of time, right, this whole unit. We've graphed quadratic equations, right, as you can see here, right? We've also solved quadratic equations too. We have the different ways of solving. Like I said, you can graph. You can, use quadratic formula, right? You can complete the square. Sometimes we can use square roots. Sometimes we can factor. We can use zero product property and stuff like that. All right. But like I said, today we're going to be looking at inequalities. So inequalities takes out the equal sign that we use in an equation, right? And it replaces it with a greater than, a less than, a greater than equal to, or less than or equal to. Okay? So what we're going to do here is graph a quadratic equation here. Okay? So our goal here is to graph y is greater than x squared plus 3x minus 4. Okay? So again, to graph this, you have a couple options. Option 1, okay? You can go to your graphing calculator and just type it in here. We can type in x squared plus 3x minus 4, okay? And once you have it typed into your y equals, okay, you can press graph. And there it is, okay? In this case, if we want to find the vertex, the vertex is a what, or the what of this parabola here? The minimum, right? So we can press second trace, go down to the minimum command. We can go to the left, hit enter. Whoops, I hit too many enters. No, it's not going to work. Yeah, it didn't work, okay. Go to the left, hit enter, go to the right, hit enter, and then go down to the bottom to guess. And so there it is. And we're going to call that negative 1.5, comma, negative 6.25. Okay? So negative 1.5, comma, negative 6.25. Okay? And we'll have to kind of eyeball that a little bit there. Okay? So that's one way to do it, okay, if you have your graphing calculator, okay? If you don't have a graphing calculator, well, again, since this is in standard form, okay, we can use the fact that the vertex x-coordinate, okay, is going to be equal to negative b over 2 times a. Okay? And so, what is our b here from this quadratic? It's just the 3, yeah. Don't worry about the variable, just the 3. What's the a from this quadratic? What? 1, yep. 2 times 1. Okay, and so you get negative 3. 2 times 1 is 2. And a negative 3 divided by 2 is, there's your negative 1.5 that we got. Okay. So again, graphing calculator gives it to us. We either use the minimum command or the maximum command. All right. If we don't have a graphing calculator, right, or if we want to just try calculating by hand, right, then you do the x equals negative b over 2a, all right, once it's in standard form like that. Now, again, this gives us the x coordinate, but how can we find the matching y coordinate using this? What can we do? If you're given an x coordinate and you want to find the matching y coordinate, what can we do? Plug it back in. That's right. So we plug it back in for the x here, and you get your answer. All right, I'm not going to show you that work. You guys can do that enough on your own, right? All right. So now, let's plot this thing. Okay? I'm going to do it over here where we have some space. Okay? So let's see here. Since I know I'm going to be moving, this is my vertex, I'm going to kind of like adjust things a little bit. Maybe something like this. Okay. And so again, I get the point negative 1.5, negative 6.25. So there's negative 1, so negative 1.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.25 is going to be something like right there. Okay. It's not a very nice point to plot, right? Because it's kind of like, oh, I smudged there a little bit. Not a very nice point to plot because it's kind of like, it's not really on a nice grid point there. But if we go to our graphing calculators, right, we can see if I go to the table here, for it, I can see some nice points to graph, right? I can see like, okay, 0, -4, -1, -6, -2, -6, -3, -4. So those aren't too bad to graph there. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's see here, -1, -6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see here, 0, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 0, okay? And then let's see here, I can also say, well, here, I'll show you guys here. That way you guys can see it with me. Okay. -5, -6, or -5, oh, that's not, that's too far. -4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. -3, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bless you. Okay. And let's see here, -2, -6. Okay, perfect. So there are all my points. Okay? There are all my points. And again, if you wanted to organize this in your own table, you could. Again, make the XY table. Put your vertex there in the center of it. Okay? And then I'm going to try and, again, use whole number. Bless you. I'm going to try and use whole numbers here. So like -2, -1, -3, or 0, I guess would be right there. Okay? And then you can just, again, use your table to fill those in. -1, -6, and 0, -4, like that. Okay? And again, these are points that I plotted right over here. If you want to get more points, again, you can just extend your table some in either direction. Okay? Okay. Thank you, Julie. Now, we've got to be a little bit careful here. When we graph inequalities, we have two different kinds of borderlines that we can draw. Okay? When we graph an inequality, we have two different kinds of borderline. It's either going to be solid or dotted. Okay? What kind of borderline do we want to draw here? Is it going to be a solid line or a dotted line? Solid? Okay, why solid? What about this indicates we should graph solid? Okay. Okay, it is a full curve. That's right, we are going to graph a full curve here. But that's not what makes our decision about whether we should graph a solid line or a dotted line, though. What about the inequality determines whether we should graph a solid line or a dashed line? Yeah, Haley? Okay, yes, it has to do with the thingy I think you're talking about there. It has to do with the inequality symbol. It's not the direction, though. Yeah? If it has the equal to or if it doesn't have the equal to, right? So this inequality symbol does not have the equal to, right? It doesn't have the line underneath of it. So, since it doesn't have equal to, should we graph a solid line or a dashed line? Dashed or dotted, right? Dashed or dotted, because it doesn't include, right? The equal to means we do include the curve as part of our solution, but since it doesn't have the equal to, we're just going to do a dashed line. So dashed line. Okay? If you used pencil to do it, you can just erase away some of the some of the solid line if you accidentally went ahead and graphed the solid line there. Okay? So there it is. What else is included, though, here? Besides drawing a solid or dashed line, when we graph inequalities, what else do we need to do as well? Shade. Yes, shade. We shade here. Okay? Now, sometimes we can kind of figure out how we're supposed to shade. All right? This is y is, what's this inequality symbol? Greater than. Yeah, it's greater than, okay? So if this says y is greater than this, that means our solutions, where we want to shade, should be greater than this curve. So where is greater than this curve? Above it, right above it. So anywhere above the curve, so if I'm on so it's like this area right here. This is the area we want to shade. Right in here. Okay? This is the area we want to shade right in here. Okay? Why do we shade? Because in an inequality, right, there's a whole range of points that solve an inequality, right? Any point that you select in this shaded area will solve this inequality. Just pick, like, do 0, 0, for example. That's an easy one, right? Imagine plugging in 0, 0 here. It'll be 0 for the x, so these will be 0. You'll just have -4. It'll be 0 for the y, okay? So is 0 greater than -4? It is, right? And so that's why that point is in the shaded area there. In fact, every point in this shaded area, any point you pick, when you plug it in here, we'll make the inequality true. Any point outside the shaded area that you pick will make the inequality false. So for example, if I pick like the point here, 2, 0. 2 squared for the x coordinate there, 2 squared is 4, plus 6 is 10, minus 4 is 6. And then the y coordinate was 0. So is 0 greater than 6? The answer is no, right? And so that's why this area is not shaded. Okay? That's the idea there. All right. Believe it or not, your calculator can shade too, if you want to see here. So to do that, to show you how your calculator can shade stuff, you want to arrow to the left from where you typed in your function, and this is highlights what kind of line we're going to draw here. If you hit enter, all right, that will draw a thicker line. Sometimes you just want to have a thicker line there. If you hit enter again, you can see this. This means we're going to shade above the curve. That means we're going to shade below the curve. And then you have some other options there I don't want to worry about right now. Okay? But we want to shade above the curve, right? So if I do that, watch what happens. There it is. Okay? Shaded above. So you can see the graph there too. Okay? It shades it in for you. Okay? Let's try another one here. Okay. You're okay with this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're sure, then go ahead. Okay. All right. Next one. Solve y is less than or equal to negative x squared plus 4 by graphing. Okay, so we're going to solve this one now too. Okay. So again, your choice here. If you want to type this in your graphing calculator, okay, and then just find the vertex that way. That's your choice. Let's do this one by hand. All right. So the x coordinate for the vertex is going to be equal to negative b over 2a. Okay, we are in standard form here. Okay. What is our b value here?
0.
Very good. There isn't one, right? So we're going to put a 0. Over 2 times, what's our a value? Negative 1, right? The lead coefficient there, negative 1. Okay? So negative 0 is just going to be 0, and then 0 divided by anything is, well, besides 0, is going to be 0. So we just get 0 there. Okay? Just get 0. Now that I know that x is 0, I'm going to plug the 0 in here. So we'll say y is equal to negative 0 squared plus 4. Okay? 0 squared is 0 times negative 1 is still 0 plus 4 will be 4. And so we get the vertex at a coordinate of 0, 4. Okay. Now some of you might be able to figure that out just because what kind of transformation is indicated here? What kind of transformation is being shown? Up 4. And then, what's the negative in front do? Flip it over the x-axis, yeah. So you can see it shift up 4. Well, if you're at 0, 0 and you go up 4, you're now going to have a vertex of 0, 4, right? So there it is. Okay, so you can do it that way too. Okay. Of course, if we type into my graphing calculator, you know, negative x squared plus 4, you can see it as well here. Okay, there's our vertex, right? And in this case, if we want to find the vertex, would we still use the minimum command? What will we use? Maximum command. Okay, so again, if you have the graphing calculator, you can just use maximum command. All right, let's plot this thing. All right, I'll make a table too here just so I can do that. So again, make an XY table. I'll put the 0, 4 in the center of the table. Pick some points before it. It's like negative 1, negative 2. Pick some points after it. It's like 1 and 2. Okay. And you just plug these in, or again, you can use your graphing calculator to fill out that table there because it's already got the values done. So let's see here. So negative 2, I get 0. Okay, negative 1, I get 3. 1, I get 3. And 2, I get 0. Okay. So let's plot those points. 0, 4. Negative 1, 3. negative 2, 0, 1, 3, 2, 0. Okay. What kind of borderline should we draw now? Solid or dotted? Solid because why? It's got the equal to. That's right, equal to. So solid line. Okay, solid. It's equal to. Okay. And then how should we shade? What is this symbol right here? It is the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, less than or equal to. If you're ever unsure, right, the less than, if you make a capital L, right, the less than is just like an L on its side, just turned a little bit, right? The greater than symbol does not make an L, right? It's a backwards L. Okay, but for less than, make a capital L and just turn on its side. There's your less than symbol right there. So y is less than or equal to negative x squared plus 4. So for less than, where would it make sense to shade? Above the quadratic or below the quadratic? Below it, right? So just below it would be right inside here. Okay, just like that. There's all of our solutions. Okay, so for this graph, is the vertex a solution to this inequality here? Is the vertex, the point 0, 4, is that a solution to this inequality according to my graph here? What do you say? Is 0, 4 a solution to my inequality here based on my graph? Yes, why? It's on the line, and the line is solid. Okay, if I go up here to this one, there's my vertex right there, negative 1.5 comma negative 6.25. This is the vertex, right? Is the vertex a solution to this inequality? Whoops. Is this vertex a solution to this inequality? The answer is no, because the borderline here is dotted, okay? So if you have a dotted borderline, no point on the borderline counts as a solution. If your borderline here is solid, every point on the borderline counts as a solution. Of course, all the shaded area too. Okay. All right. Let me have you guys try one here on your own then. All right. Questions before I have you guys try one on your own? All right. So here's one for you all to try then. So try this one, please. Okay. Graph. Y is, hello Nate. Oh, thanks. Graph y is less than x squared plus 2x minus 8, please. Okay. So go ahead and graph that one. I'll try and leave some of this work up here for you to look at. There you go. Okay. But go ahead and try this one, please. Okay, you may use your graphing calculators if you want, or ours. Okay, question? How about you do this one first, and I'll let you go. Okay, I want you to try one here, Kyler, so you can show me what to do, because you haven't done any notes either. Okay. Oops. the graph of it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yep. Okay, so then you want to find like this point right here?
Again.
What do you want to try and
Just
find?
the
The X, Y, the second graph table.
Thanks.
Now you want to adjust here because these numbers are quite ridiculous, but if you keep going down, you might get some nicer numbers there for your graph. Okay?
Okay.
Yep. I'll arrow up to that first. Arrow up. Hit enter. Nope. Hit enter to turn off that plot. Now go back down to Y1. Okay? And now you want to type in x squared plus 2x minus 8. Oh, so we don't use that. We're just going to graph it as an equation, and then we will shade on our paper how to, or I can show you how to shade on the calculator too. You can't change that equal to a greater than or equal to. Exactly. Yep. And just use the x squared plus 2x minus 8. Yep, I do. There you go, sir. Any questions back here? Chris, do you want to borrow one in the meantime? Like right now? So that is the x coordinate of vertex. Yes. So then you're going to plug it back in, and you should get -9 for your y coordinate. Okay. Good. You guys want to put it here? Yeah. So first of all, you need to arrow up, and then hit enter to turn off that plot. Okay, now go back down. And you're just going to type in x squared plus 2x minus 8. Unfortunately, our graphing calculator, you can't put in like the inequality symbols when you graph. So you're just going to do y equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. Really? Okay. Where is x? It's right here. Okay. And then square. You can see the square button. And then plus 2x minus 8. Yeah. And then you graph. Oh, man. Alright, so messed up here. The vertex, right? So in this case, it is a minimum, right? So second trace. Then you use the minimum command. The calculator kind of guides you through what to do here. The left path. So go to the left of your 0, or your minimum there. Hit enter. Okay, and then move to the right of it and hit enter. And then go down to the guess. So you want to get down close to it, doesn't have to be exact. And hit enter. And then voila. There's your max. There's your minimum. There's your vertex. Okay. Yeah, do you have a graphing calculator? Oh, okay, gotcha. You guys share it. Oh, okay, I got you. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I have rental sheets if you want to rent one. Plus 2x plus 8. Oh, minus 8, sorry. Yeah, I'll fix this here. So, some of your table settings were changed. So now. Okay, if you're welcome. Other questions on anything? Anyone stuck still? Need some help? All okay? All right, very good. You want to shade it then too? You figure out which side to shade? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Oh, I see. Yeah, I know, because you're writing in pen. You don't want to you don't want to try to erase all that or something? Yeah. Yes, that's perfect. Again, it's the less than that includes the sins. It's why is less than you want to shade below it, which really includes all the outside pieces too. So yeah. Ashley, you doing okay back here too? Ish. So, okay, are you trying to calculate, or would you want to? Because the A was -1, and here the A was positive, so that should be a negative, which should be positive. Sorry. Okay, does that make some sense now, Ashley? Yeah. Okay. Clear it up, I mean. Okay. Looking good. Plot those points. Okay. See you connected. where you're going to shade it, right? So in this case, what is that inequality symbol? Less than. So should we shade above our curve or should we shade below the curve for less than? What's that? I don't know. What does less than make you think? Does less than make you think shade below or does less than make you think shade above? Below, right? Okay, below. You shade above the curve. So instead of shading this section, you got to shade this section. Okay. So hit quit. Hit enter, sorry. And do zoom 6. That puts you back to the standard viewing window. Okay? Sometimes people's settings are messed up.
Mr. Whitmar?
Yes.
Do I have a rental sheet for calculator?
Yes, sir. Yes. That looks pretty good, yeah. So, but now be careful. It doesn't have an equal to, so it should be a dotted line, not a solid line. Okay, and then we're going to shade here too. All right. All right. In the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the answer here, just because I didn't want to run out. All right, but I will here. I know. I got a few just more. Just for right now. I know we have a few minutes. Yeah, you can go. Thank you, guys. Okay. There's our graph. Okay, there's my graph. Okay, there's my graph. The vertex here is -1, -9. Okay. Again, I took my vertex, put it right in the middle of my table, picked some x values before it, picked some x values after it. Okay, plotted those points. Okay, like that. And then for the shading, I shaded outside the quadratic. Why? Because the inequality symbol there is less than. Okay, and since we're less than, that means we should shade below the curve. So below is going to be outside the curve. So every point in this shaded area here is a solution to this inequality. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Questions on any of that? We're all good there? No questions? All right. So then what I've got for you here, okay, because I think I'm going to check and make sure. What I'm going to give to you guys are 2 graphs that I want you to do for homework, okay? So let's just go ahead and turn our papers over, all right? Because this is, you know, it's a 2-hour delay schedule, so we're going to be done here soon, okay? So I'm going to give you guys, I didn't quite get through everything I wanted to get through, but we'll just finish it up on Monday, okay? If we have school Monday. Because I think there's supposed to be more kind of wintry precipitation or something like that, so we'll see. But anyway, for your, what's that?
Supposed to get sleet soon.
Oh, yeah, the ice is even worse then, isn't it? Or better, I guess, depending on what you want. You seniors, you're probably like, bring it on, more snow days.
We shouldn't even be here today.
Shouldn't be here today. Oh, come on now, Gio. Come on now, Gio. You want to be here till August? All right, here is your homework. I would like you to graph y is greater than x squared minus 9. Okay, and I also want you to graph y is less than x squared plus 4x minus 5. Okay, I'm giving you 2 graphs for your homework. All right, that's it. Okay, just 2 graphs for your homework. All right, that's your homework. That's your homework. I think it's 8:30. Or 10:30, I mean. Yep, there it is. All right, folks. Sorry, I forgot to schedule the back for you. Have a good day. All right. Julie, have a good one. I'm going to ask you about that Hawaii trip,
Okay.
all right? When we have time.